everyone, Crista Cowan here with another episode of The Barefoot Genealogist. Today we are going to talk about genealogy societies. Now the question that often comes up in today's digital world is, why do I need to join a genealogy society? What benefit is it to me? Well, besides being employed here at Ancestry, I also sit on the board of a state genealogical society, and I've been asking that same question repeatedly of our board and of our members to make sure that we're providing the most value to them for their membership. So today I'm just going to briefly cover reasons why you might consider joining a genealogical society, and then we'll talk about the different societies that are available for you to join. So let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to start with a discussion of why you might want to join a genealogy society, and there are a lot of reasons. This is certainly not an exhaustive list, but let's start with this concept about local records and record repositories. Now, your ancestors likely came from all over, particularly if you live here in the United States. We have a very big melting pot of ancestry oftentimes, and so we end up with ancestors from all over. In my particular case, I've got ancestry from New England and from the southern United States and from the deep south and from Texas and from Germany and England and Scotland and Ireland and France and the Midwest. And so I've got ancestors from all over, and I can't know everything about everything. There are records and record repositories out there that exist that I just don't know about. And locals very often are the greatest resource for me. So when I think about joining a genealogical society, there are going to be reasons I want to join a local genealogy society here in my area where I live, but there are also reasons why I want to join societies in the areas where my ancestors may have lived. And that gives me an opportunity to network with those who know those records better than I know those records. Now, the reason why I want people who know those records is because not all records are digitized or online. And even the rate that Ancestry is placing records online, there are still a vast amount of records that are only available through a local repository, an archive, a library, a society. Some societies have actually digitized their own collections and placed them online on their websites in what they call typically a members-only area, which means the records are digitized and accessible, but they are only accessible online if you are a member of that society. So it's a great way to get access to additional records that you might not have had access to otherwise. Now, for me, one of the biggest reasons that I am a member of several genealogy societies has to do with the educational opportunities that are available. When you're new to family history, or when you've been doing it for decades like I have, you don't know what you don't know. And that opportunity to expose yourself to new concepts in genealogy methodology, new records, new information about how to use DNA, all of those are different things that you can understand about family history research. And the educational opportunities provided by societies is a great boon. So a few examples. Most societies will hold some kind of a monthly meeting where they have a presenter of some type. I've spoken at several of these kinds of meetings for genealogy societies all over the country. A lot of societies are now starting to move toward a more digital format. So, for example, the Utah Genealogical Association, of which I'm the state organization that I sit on the board for, they do a virtual chapter of their organization, and they hold virtual meetings through, I believe, GoToMeeting software that enables people, whoever they may be, to access that particular monthly meeting or lecture or presentation. And then a lot of societies have special interest groups. They're called SIGs, S-I-G, special interest group, for different topics depending on the purpose of the society. UGA, Utah Genealogical Association, again, just started a DNA SIG where there will be 3 virtual meetings about DNA, and then on the 4th month, anybody who lives local or can get to Utah will be able to meet in person with the presenter and work on some of their specific genealogy family history research tasks. So a lot of different ways that genealogy education occurs. There are organizations that provide week-long institutes, like the Salt Lake Institute of Genealogy is hosted by UGA. The National Genealogical Society hosts an annual conference every year in a different city in the United States. They rotate around to make it as accessible as possible. So a lot of different genealogy education opportunities that, again, you don't have to live near the society or societies you want to be a part of. Maybe it needs to be a society in the place where your ancestors came from. Maybe you want to just check out the website of a society and see if they have a regular schedule of programs that are of interest to you, and it's well worth the fee of joining the society just to get that educational opportunities available to you. Another reason to join a genealogy society, and this is one of the things that I love about them, is that it's a place to find your tribe. We talk a lot about family history, and sometimes we talk too much about family history. And our own families sometimes are not as interested or engaged as we wish they would be. But one of the things that I love about societies and gathering with genealogists is that I'm gathering with like-minded people who get why I find this so fascinating and why I'm so passionate about family history, and people who are willing to talk to me about it and talk with me about it and share their experiences. So I love genealogy societies for these 4 reasons and more. But let's talk for a minute just about where you're going to find some of these societies. Here in the United States, we have a federation of genealogical societies. So it is an umbrella organization, and any genealogical society in the country can join that umbrella organization. FGS does hold an annual conference every year. Again, they rotate cities, and FGS is typically held Labor Day weekend, or the week leading up to Labor Day weekend, and it's in a different city every year. Whereas the National Genealogical Society annual conference is typically held in the spring. So spring and then the end of the summer are the 2 bookend conferences from these 2 particular organizations. But the Federation of Genealogical Societies, their whole goal is linking the genealogical community. It is making sure that genealogical societies are represented to the public, that the public has access to those genealogical societies. So here on their website, what you're going to see is a little link to find a society. And you can click that, and you can start reading through all of the different kinds of societies that are available. And you'll notice some of them are location specific, some of them are specific to an ethnicity, some of them are specific to a type or a surname or a group of surnames that people are researching. Some of them are about different kinds of technology. So again, not all of them are going to be local societies. So you can go through that list, or you can do a search by location or by keyword to see what is available from FGS. So you don't join FGS. FGS has lists of societies that you can join that then allow you to participate in their individual organizations. Now, the National Genealogical Society you can join, and I would strongly encourage you to, if you're doing research here in the United States, joining the National Genealogical Society is going to give you access to all sorts of wonderful resources. They do conferences and events, they have publications, they do video education, they have a magazine that is fantastic. If you want to learn about how to be a better researcher, there are just amazing resources available through their publication. So the National Genealogical Society, I'm a member. I would encourage anybody who is doing research here in the United States to also become a member if you want access to those resources. Now, Here in the United States and abroad, societies are at all different levels. There are country level societies, there are regional societies, there are state and county and local societies. So just a few examples. So for example, the New England Historic Genealogical Society, if my information is correct, it is the oldest genealogical society in the United States. And it covers New England. It is a regional society. They have services available where you can actually hire researchers or get expert consultations or ask a genealogist. They have educational programs online and offline. They also have a really large facility in Boston where they have a library that has records. And so you can go in and search their catalog or their collections online to see what they have available offline. They've also digitized some of their collections and made some of those available here on their website, and you can search those. Now, it's the New England Historic Genealogical Society, NEHGS, but their website is AmericanAncestors.org. And again, it's a great organization, wonderful resources. I am a member, and I think it's a fantastic resource for you if you have family in New England and want access to some of the records that they have there. Again, I mentioned that there are state-level genealogical societies. One of the largest, I believe, is the Ohio Genealogical Society. I have family in Ohio. I'm not currently a member, but I was a member at one point, and gave me access to some of the resources available in their library. It gave me access to some of their society members who, again, knew more about research in the places in Ohio that I was researching than I did, and so I was really excited to have access to that resource. The Utah Genealogical Association, again, some societies, and I'm sharing a lot about Utah not just because I live here and I'm on the board, but also because I'm most familiar with this particular society. It's the society I've been a member of the longest. I actually went ahead and just purchased a lifetime membership instead of worrying about renewing it every year. But different societies around the country have different programs. So for example, here in Utah, we have a program called the First Families of Utah, where you document your research to someone who lived here in Utah before the railroad got here. So those are the pioneers of the state. Most states have something similar, some kind of a First Families program. And if you can document your family tree to that first family, you get a certificate, but then your documented research goes into a database for that organization and then becomes a searchable database of information for other members. So we end up with kind of this synchronicitous relationship between members and new members, and it ends up in oftentimes being a generational thing where your parent or grandparent may have been a member of the society, and because they proved their connection to the first families, then you can just tag on with that, and so on and so forth, and it keeps that going throughout the generations. Lots of different pieces of information, though, on each of these websites. Now, you just need to do a search either through the Federation of Genealogical Societies or just an online search through your favorite search engine for whatever your state, county, or local society is in the place that you are interested in. Keep in mind, though, like I said earlier, there are also societies that are by ethnicity or by research interest. So 3 specific ones that I am familiar with. One is the International Association of Jewish Genealogical Societies. This is a truly international organization. Not only do they have chapters around the world, so there's probably a chapter somewhere in your local area, but they also have special interest groups in local chapters for people who are doing research in different Eastern European countries or in Israel or in South Africa. So a lot of times they'll break it down within a society, for example, the Los Angeles Genealogical Society, so that they can have access to some of those other things. And then the African American Historical and Genealogical Society, again, is an umbrella organization. They hold an annual conference. I'll be speaking at that in October in Atlanta, but then they also have local chapters that might be in your area that give you access to their particular resources. And then finally, again, just different things that you need to think about sometimes out of the box. The American Historical Society of Germans from Russia. So there was a whole huge group of people who migrated from Germany to Russia, settled in Russia, and then eventually a lot of them immigrated to the United States. And so there is this society that focuses on that particular ethnicity. And that's kind of fascinating, the resources that they have available for those immigrants. Well, that is all I have for you today. Again, my purpose today was just to get you thinking about why you might want to join a society, what types of societies are available. Don't just think about where you live, think also about where your ancestors lived, what their ethnicity may have been, and then go out and see if there is a society that will meet your needs. I certainly know that those societies would love to have not just your membership dollars, but also your involvement and your skills and your knowledge and what happens. You get a group of people together with all different genealogical skills and knowledge, and all boats rise together. Until next time, this is Crista Cowan. Have fun climbing your family tree.